right, thank you so much for still being with us here on Monday's edition of Morning at NTV. As we do continue on, we step into our Kickstarter, where we get to look at the status of Kampala's capital, and this is ahead of the general elections 2026. I am Priscilla Regina Naluoga. You're most welcome to our Kickstarter. Now, as Uganda is heading into yet another political season, all eyes are on Kampala, the capital that does represent both the country's greatest promise, but also its most visible governance shortcomings. From persistent flooding to infrastructure delays, from contested public-private land disputes, and then to the youth unemployment and the urban spiral, we get to see Kampala sitting on an epicenter of complex urban challenges. Now, with just months to go to the 2026 general elections, the city is again at crossroads. Where do we go from here? And the next promising leaders, the ones that are going to campaign to us, what their commitments, what their manifestos are to us, Bana Kampala, what are they saying, and how exactly is it going to be applicable should they be given the mandate to actually lead Kampala for the next 5 years? So many citizens are asking themselves a big question: is Kampala broken, or can it be fixed? And who can fix it? Well, today in our Kickstarter, we're speaking to Beatrice Mao, an aspirant for the Kampala Lord Mayorship, known for her background in urban planning and civic activism. You do have her positioning herself as a candidate offering bold and practical reforms. Her challenging is not only to the city's status quo, but also to the deeply entrenched cultures that many believe are holding the capital city back. Of course, we get to also explore the systemic issues underlined in the city's development or undevelopment or underdevelopment, wherever we are, from her assessment and of course from her exposure to different other cities in this world. We'll get to understand what are the nitty-gritties that must be addressed if we want to see a better Kampala, a smarter Kampala, a cleaner Kampala, a more organized Kampala. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, NTV. Thank you for hosting me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
All right, so let's start off with having a recap of your nomination exercise that was conducted by the Electoral Commission last week. What was that experience like for you?
First of all, from my previous experience where I was disqualified, I really had to take time off to prepare myself. And as you can see, I was one of the people that appeared on the nomination day. What I really liked about EC is the fact that the requirements include having supporters, forms filled and signed for. An exercise that I love, an exercise that takes you to the field to have a feel of how people will welcome you, how people feel about the politics of Kampala and so forth. So that exercise was great because it opens up a lot of ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're seeking to become Kampala's next Lord Mayor. What are some of the factors that are driving you to this candidacy?
To start with, this is a vision that I had since 2017. Even when I came in, I came in with that in mind, that I'm going to stand. I was laid down. My vision for Kampala is to make a city that works for everyone. People have lost hope. And like I said on the nomination day, Kampala is our living room. That's where every person from the airport, from up country, from where, that is where they come to. And so I want to make it a city for everyone. And I'm committed to working with everybody, and I'm committed to listening to the people. I've noticed that people have been left behind, and I just want to unify people in Kampala.
All right, so you have talked about how one of those requirements then placed you in the heart of people and having to interact with them and understand what their problems are. When you ask them, what are the problems of Kampala, what did they say?
first of all, when you ask them, what is the issue, what is the problem? It's not, first of all, it's not about even infrastructure, something. People are fed up of fights. As you know, Kampala has always been an opposition city. It is always the opposition. And to us, the opposition, it is like, okay, we have to fight. We have to oppose everything. And people are fed up. So this has to stop. People, we need to work. When you're entrusted to work, you need to deliver. You need to put everything aside, work as a team, be a good listener, bring all stakeholders on table, and you work as a team.
Okay. All right. We look at Kampala facing multiple intersecting crises. You do have the 2023 report by Uganda Bureau of Statistics citing Kampala having an unemployment rate of 13.5%. And we also do have the national average of 9.3%. Now, we also do see the, the loggerheads that you have talked about with the opposition pulling ropes here and there. We have seen it in the leadership of KCCA, so much so that we have seen mid-term transition of the top leadership, bringing in new leaders. And it begs the question, what is your assessment of one of the key things that have come out, inefficiency and corruption?
First of all, you've mentioned about unemployment. I think we have like 75% of the youth unemployed. And they graduate, they finish school, and they are seated. They are just loitering. The president has done a great job about skilling, opening up centers. But when you look, we have, I think, about just 6 centers in the city alone. So I feel that we need to open up more cities. We need to take our children after school for internship, for training. We need to put up more factories where we can put up the number of unemployed that are too much. We need to open up vocational institutions. I think we have just a few in the city. We really need to keep up to speed, because when you look at the youth now, they are innovative, they are into IT, and we really need to serve them. We need to open up more of this to fight the unemployment that is in the city. Okay.
Well, the things that you've talked about are primarily under the responsibility of the Capital City Authority and also the Ministry of Kampala Affairs, which then puts the Lord Mayor's office at a very challenging element there, because they call it the political wing versus the technical wing. How has this power struggle actually affected the works and the plans that you're talking about?
In my view, it has indeed affected the work of the city, and I think we really need to separate the two. The moment you're given the mandate to serve the people, you need to work with all the stakeholders, local government agencies. You need to work with the community. So I believe that this has really hindered a lot of developments in the city, because rather than work, people are having just political comedy. I think I call it comedy. I've seen people being appointed and immediately they are grabbing spades. We are not in a comedy store. We are here to work, to serve the community. And I believe that we need to separate the two. We need, the moment you're given the mandate to serve, you have to separate the two and put everybody on the table, work with everyone.
All right, currently, how it is, if you are elected the next Lord Mayor of this city, that is what you're going to find. There's not going to be separation of powers in your term. Yes. If things are going to remain. So if things do remain as they are today, how do you intend to navigate the power struggles between the Lord Mayor's office and the central government institutions?
I think how I'm going to do that is, number one, we have to put our priorities to the community by working for the community. And I believe if the right candidate is in that office, there are some things, the policies, the what that is going to change so that we can change the Kampala and we can enjoy the city that we've dreamt of. Mm-hmm. So I believe that if I'm given this office, things are really going to change for the better.
All right. Let's talk about the current leadership. What do you believe have been some of their challenges in ensuring that they advocate for a better Kampala?
I wouldn't really want to comment a lot about the previous leadership. The only thing I'm going to comment about, which I know and I've seen and I've analyzed for the past how many years, is the fights. The fights are too many and they are hindering development. And we have to look at the recent one where he's just fighting about the drainage, when you know that if a system is put in place, the Kampala flooding will kind of like go down. Yeah. So for me, I feel that the fights are too many, and that has to stop. And I think all he's doing is to fight and mourn, and it doesn't make sense to me because, first of all, I believe that it's the government or the people have put you there. Your mandate is to serve the people. Okay. But fighting, to me, fighting is no good.
All right, let's create a scenario. Yes. You've talked about the Nakivubo drainage channel and its issues currently. If you were the sitting Lord Mayor of Kampala, how would you navigate that issue? Because you are having a wealthy person or an investor coming up with what is being seen as a great initiative to actually beautify the city, but also improve on the status of the city, and has received permission from the highest office of the land, and that's the office of the president. And so then that means that whatever powers and authorities that be of KCCA, of the office of the Lord Mayor, of NEMA, to mention but a few, have been weakened and have been curtailed in terms of, do they get to play their mandate independently to assess these investors, will versus what should be done for the city? How would you navigate that situation if you were the sitting Lord Mayor?
Number one, I feel that the initiative is good, but it was done the wrong way. We have to respect our people. We have to respect the community. So I'll give you a scenario. In London, in UK, or everywhere, if a road is going to be maintained or built or something, there is a notice for almost a month that this road will be demolished or it will be renovated between this time to this time. If you have any queries, call this number. Mm-hmm. I believe the community was not given that chance to talk about it, to prepare. Because I can imagine a street vendor coming and she or he doesn't have his space. Mm. So for me, my cry to the government or my cry to the investors, it's a good thing you're doing, but please, we have to respect the community. We have to respect the people, because it is this city is for everybody. It's not for certain individuals that I'm a business person, I'm rich, I'm this, I'm going to take over. No, we have to respect each and every individual. And in that view, I feel that a lot should have been done. If we create awareness, say for example, you create, I'm seeing disorderly people, borders, you're riding in a one way, they are coming towards you, and you're at a speed. So what happened to the discipline of Ugandans? There is no discipline. Everybody is doing their own things. There's no, we need to kind of like bring in some tough love or something. So in that case, I believe that we should have created awareness that this is going to happen for the good of the city. Number two, city council has a city hall. What happened to the community engagements? What is wrong with calling all stakeholders and we are having a city hall engagement regarding that? We have a discussion about it. It's not about who is on top, who is the high there, who is the rich. It's all about all of us.
Okay, yes, it's all about all of us, and I hear you when you're saying that there's got to be as much community engagement in the development of the city as possible. But you see, even with that, your administrative powers come from somewhere else, from the central government. Your funding is going to be coming from the central government. So at the end of the day, how would you balance the powers that be, all wanting to control and manage what happens in the capital?
I think I've mentioned that the only way to control that is, number one, we all have to work as a team. You bring stakeholders on board, you bring local agencies, government agencies, you bring investors, you bring everybody on the table, and we balance things. You don't, just because powers come from somewhere else, we need, and that is what I'm talking about, that my vision is to make sure that everybody is inclusive. Everyone is inclusive. We have to have respect for the people. We have to have respect for the community. And we have to create awareness. Awareness is key. What is wrong with putting a big billboard that this will happen between this and that, so that people are aware and they ask questions?
Okay, all right. The Nakivubo channel, vital for managing stormwater for us here in Kampala and preventing floods, has been compromised with this encroachment. Now, you do have the 2022 World Bank report noting that Kampala loses to the tune of 24 billion Ugandan shillings due to flood-related disruptions. Beatrice, this begs the question, flooding remaining a constant for us in Kampala, even with quite a number of infrastructure changes here and there. We have seen it paralyzing commerce, we've seen it paralyzing transport. What structure changes would your administration do or prioritize to mitigate this?
I think this calls for flood control measures. Number one, putting up good drainage systems. People are given money. So you're given a contract of, say, 2 billion Ugandan shillings, but you only use a quarter of that. What do you expect? So that goes to corruption, zero tolerance of corruption. Every country, there's some degree of corruption, but in Uganda, you're given a contract of 5 billion, you use only a quarter. What happened to the decency of serving the community? So that goes to the having good drainage systems in place, having the green infrastructure, and in my manifesto I've talked about the green initiative. So I believe with that we would be able to come up with a solution, and having urban planning, preparing or implementing smart urban planning would also help.
Okay.
Measure that.
All right. We also do have the business community. I know that you have been seeing them coming up to the forefront and fighting taxation, the high taxes, how they collect the taxes in Kampala. All these are frustrating the SMEs. 60% of Kampala's population is working in the informal sector as far as business is concerned. So what reforms do you envision you would apply for the business community in the capital in order for them to have a harnessing and conducive business environment?
When you read my manifesto, I have actually included the business people. I'm a business person myself. And with that, we need to give taxi initiatives. We need to collaborate with the URA I have talked about I talked about universal basic income. If, say, for example, the government kind of like has a fund to kind of boost these businesses once in a while, when they say, for example, there's flooding, say, for example, there's been some emergencies, and I feel that as a government, we are able to kind of like boost the business people by creating these initiatives like universal basic income to help those that are really low. And I feel that that money can be.
Okay. All right. So now let's get into the nitty-gritties of your manifesto. What are the key pillars that you are standing on as Beatrice Mao on the Democratic Party card for the Lord Mayoress?
I have a 10-point program, but my key issues I want to concentrate on, of course, infrastructure development. I talked about the green initiative because I just believe that we've turned the city into pavers. What happened to the green? We need the green. Some people finish work and there's a lot of traffic. You can go and have a green. So I intend to really push for that, the green initiative. And then Medcare for all.
All right, let's go one by one.
Okay.
The green initiative, how would you implement it administratively?
First of all, every house buyer or every household, we must put in place that you have to have at least 30 or 20% green, either trees or plants or garden or some sort. And recently I visited Singapore as I was preparing for this as well, because it's a country that is so green. And I was told that each household, let it be business, let it be anything, you have to have 30% of the green.
Okay.
So I intend to copycat that.
All right.
Because it's good for the country. And number 2, Medcare for all. I'm very passionate about children, young children. I'm very passionate about women. And I feel that every child below the age of 5 should have free education, free Medicare, and women that are pregnant before birth, they should have that Medicare. And I believe we must have, the city should have access to emergencies, because I've seen borders heads being blown away and they are put in a Primo or something. You don't know what you've damaged. So I just want to really take charge of the Medcare for all, at least those 3.
All right, you are definitely showing Bada Kampala that those are critical issues they need to look at themselves. At the end of the day, you have talked about one initiative, that is the Universal Basic Income Initiative. What other initiatives do you intend to implement in your tenure should you be elected?
There is a lot which I'm actually going to discuss when I'm launching my manifesto, but that is one of them. Then the green initiative, that is a must. We have to plant trees and so forth. Another initiative that I really want to concentrate at, because I've seen that our city, we need to go back to the basics. And by the basics, I mean creating awareness that when you're in a taxi and throw rubbish, it is wrong. When you're in your flat and throw poo in a cavera, it is wrong. So we need to go back to the basics and teach people that throwing garbage from the taxi to the road, it is wrong. So those are the initiatives. And I believe once that is in place, the bigger picture will come for Kampala.
Okay. All right. What challenges have you foreseen could actually impede you from achieving the initiatives and the programs that you want to achieve?
I feel that most of the challenges that I'll face is, number one, resource management. Allocating resources very well. Tackling corruption, because corruption is everywhere now, so I'm kind of like in a panic state, like I really need to be tough, that my office does not tolerate corruption. Another challenge is community engagement. People have lost trust, so I really need to engage the community so that they can have trust. People are fed up of the politics, and that is why I argue the public that this is not about political parties. It's about the service you're going to give to the people, rather than looking, oh, you're in red, I'm not going to come for this interview, or why aren't you putting on green, and so forth, because I know that is the next question when I move out of here. So we really need to move away from that. Another thing is, a challenge I'm going to face is a collaboration, like you've just mentioned, collaborating with all stakeholders, government agencies, businesses, community, investors. That is something that really I'm going to have to work on.
Okay. All right. As we're closing this conversation, what is your call to action, and what should people expect of you as we are going through this campaigning season up to the election of Kampala's Lord Mayor next?
I've mentioned it anyway before. My vision is to include everyone. That's number one. Number two, please let us not be diverted with comedy this time. Let us put comedy aside and vote for someone who is determined to provide a solution for Kampala. Kampala is our city. I grew up from here, and I love my city so passionately.
All right. Thank you so much, Beatrice Mao, who is standing for Kampala's Lord Mayor on the DP card. We've had that engagement in which she's talked about quite a number of initiatives that are on her heart, medical being one of them, community engagement, and also an initiative that will be supportive of the lesser economically privileged Muna Kampala. So look out for that. As we do